So today, news came out that All Elite Wrestling had entered a partnership with the Owen Hart Foundation. Now, the Owen Hart Foundation is a foundation created in the memory of Owen Hart by his wife, Martha Hart. Now, this news obviously surprised a lot of folks because nobody saw this coming. Nobody expected Martha Hart to be involved with wrestling in any capacity, but yet, here we are. Now, part of the agreement is Owen Hart's likeness will be utilized in the upcoming AEW video game, as well as some other promotional material and packages, travel packages and VIP packages and stuff down the line. But also, I think the one thing that really convinced her to sign off on this was the fact that AEW, Tony Khan that is willing to put on a tournament in Owen Hart's memory. And, I guess that's what really, won her over or something. I'm not really sure. But I could also probably guess that the other thing that won her over was the agreement that all of the proceedings, the majority of the proceedings that they will make from this, let's say this tournament, and from any other things that involve Owen, like I said, the AEW video game, package travel deals with, his, like let's say his likeness and all that, action figures and everything. Any profit that gets made of that, any, profitable proceedings will be a majority of that, if not half of that, or 25% of that or something. I don't know the exact details, but some of that, if not a good chunk of it, will go to the Owen Hart Foundation. Now, obviously, like I said, this is big news because a lot of us, that have been expecting WWE to, reconcile with Martha and Martha to do the same, didn't think this was ever going to happen anywhere. Like I said, we didn't expect it to happen anywhere. I mean, most likely we were hoping WWE would be the ones that would step up and, offer the olive branch, if you will, to Martha, apologize for what happened, take responsibility, and maybe that'd be the first step in the healing process. But no, AEW is the one that beat him to the punch. But yeah, again, part of the deal is there's going to be a tournament in his memory. They're going to add him into the AEW video game. They are going to, take all the profit that they make from the tournament, the merchandise that gets sold, the action figures, the game itself, and they're going to contribute a lot of it to the Owen Hart Foundation. A majority, obviously, from the tournament is going to go to the Owen Hart Foundation, and then other parts of it, like, profits they make off the video game, the action figures, any merchandise, shirts, if you will, part of those profits will also go to the Owen Hart Foundation as well. Basically, any likeness, that AEW will make of that, AEW, I should say, not make, but will utilize of Owens in any, shape or form that, requires making profit. Part of that profit will go to the Owen Hart Foundation. That's the only way I think Martha Hart signed off on this. That if, that basically she gets a cut of the profits for the foundation. And even though this sounds like tremendous news, and this is something that, obviously not a lot of fans thought was going to happen, but yet here it is. Because a lot of us thought that, like I said, WWE would be the first to offer the olive branch to Martha, take responsibility for what happened. Here you have AEW, like I mentioned, beating them to the punch. And it's because of that now, with every bit of positivity, you get some negativity to counter that. And that negativity comes from a lot of people that feel that Vince himself, Vince McMahon, should sue the company, that being AEW, for doing this, for pulling this stunt. And yet, you have a lot of people coming out and saying that Vince has no pull in, trying to sue AEW because what? They want to pay tribute to Owen? What business does Vince have, or what say does he have, And again, like I say, you have the detractors, because with any positive news, you get negative news, and you got a lot of detractors that are saying, like, this is not right, this is sickening, this is disgusting, WWE and Vince should step in and do something. You know what? Here's the thing. Even if Vince McMahon and WWE wanted to step in and do something, they know they don't have a leg to stand on. They know they don't have a leg. Because you think Vince, the first thing he's going to do to try to win Martha over, to try to, prevent AEW from putting this on before it happens, do you think the last thing he's going to want to do is go to Martha and say, Martha, I take responsibility for your husband's death. Have the police arrest me and put me in jail for the rest of my life. Do you think he's going to want to do that? Do you think that's going to be the first thing that comes to his mind? Absolutely not. Because he has too much pride. He has too much pride. So even if he decided to sue, what case does he have to sue? Huh? You see, some people want to come out and say, well, Vince owns a majority of the places Owen wrestled in. En contraire, if you will. En contraire. You see, Owen did wrestle briefly for WCW when he was a free agent back in the late 80s, early 90s. I'll give you that. He did do that because he was traveling, trying to find where he could fit in before going back to WWE. Secondly, he wrestled for Stampede Wrestling, which is true. Both right now are currently owned, basically library-wise, by WWE. So they do have Owen involved in some of those footages, if you will. Other places, though, like New Japan, Can-Am Wrestling, Memphis Territories, you name it, guess what? WWE doesn't own a majority of that. They don't. Do I see USWA on WWE Network on Peacock? No, I don't. So Vince may own, Stampede Wrestling and WCW, where Owen appeared in, but he doesn't own New Japan, he doesn't own Can-Am Wrestling, he doesn't own USWA or any of the other places he was at. So Vince doesn't really have a leg to stand on. And let me remind you of this. If Vince really wanted to take, somebody to court about doing a tournament or a memorial, or wanted to, make a profit to where a majority of that profit is, goes to the Owen Hart Foundation, charity, if you will, the charity of the Owen Hart Foundation, the proceedings, if you will, went to him, or went to that organization that Martha put up in memory of her husband. If Vince really wanted to do all this in the long run, he would have done it a long time ago. He really would have done it a long time ago. Because again, if people want him to sue AEW for doing this, he would have sued all these independent organizations for doing the same thing for Brian Pillman and Yokozuna. That's what they would have done. Heck, he would sue freaking AAA for any Eddie Guerrero-like tributes they would put on. You kind of get what I'm saying? He doesn't have a leg or a reason to sue. And when I hear people come out and say that, he should do this, it's sickening what AEW is doing. You know what that is? You know what that is, folks? That's just people that just can't understand. AEW is another platform. It is not owned by WWE or associated with WWE in any shape or form. It's another platform for men and women in this business to, get some exposure and show what they can do. Yes, does it give them a little bit more freedom? Absolutely. But you see, what AEW is doing, what Tony Khan is doing, is he's taking the mistakes that Vince McMahon and other owners and promoters before him had made, and he's basically making sure he doesn't make those mistakes either. I mean, yes, is he signing a bunch of ex-WWE talent? Absolutely. But he's doing it because he wants to show Vince McMahon and anybody else that might be interested in them, hey, you want this person back on your roster? You want this person as part of your roster? Let me show you how you let them be themselves. And there you go. There you go. But the fact of the matter is this. Vince McMahon does not have a legal leg to stand on. And even if he tried, you know what's going to happen? Martha Hart is going to countersue him. Martha Hart came this close to sending him to jail. If it wasn't for any behind-the-scenes legal BS, she came that close. She came that close because of what happened to her husband. And here's the thing. Vince knows that. Vince knows that. Stephanie knows that. Shane knows that. Paul Levesque, Triple H, his son-in-law. They all know that. Which is why they won't attempt, Vince that is, won't attempt to sue AEW. He won't. And again, all I see when people say, oh, Vince should do this because it's disgusting what AEW is doing, all I see is a bunch of guys that just can't accept the fact that there's other promotions out there. But you know what I think I also see when I see these kind of people? And I'll do this in another video. But I see something that obviously is commonplace when it comes to any wrestling fans in general. Whether they show a little bit more favoritism to one promotion or they're totally unbiased towards all of them. There's one thing I notice about these people that come out and do this. And I think you know what it is. But anyway, in closing, I wanted to say that basically I think this is a great move by AEW's part. Is everybody going to agree with it? Absolutely not. Not everybody's going to agree with AEW doing this because they feel that this is just another attempt by Tony Khan to up Vince McMahon by making this partnership with the Owen Hart Foundation and Martha Hart to get to utilize his likeness in the video game and on merchandise, as well as as well as promise to give most of the proceedings from, let's say, the tournament and everything to the Owen Hart Foundation, and any other profits that they make, that they get at least a good portion of it, a good percentage of it that goes towards the Owen Hart Foundation as well. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think down below? Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Check out my Teespring store down below at BW Rosas Be Yourself. That's BW space Rosas space B space yourself. If you don't see anything down below, you should. Also, like I said, like the video, live chat during the premiere, comment down below. Check out my podcast, my audio versions of my live streams and other topics I talk about at the BW Rosas Discussion podcast at all your favorite podcast locations with the exception of Pandora. And that's about it, guys. So till next time, God bless, take care, I'm out.